Namaste and welcome everyone for a special open house beginning your Sanskrit journey. Today we have Sri Chandra Raghuji with us, our Sanskritam guru. And we're going to have a little bit of a conversation as usual. Please feel free to drop your thoughts in the Q&A box, questions, your thoughts in the comments, and let us know where you're zooming in from on the Sunday afternoon. It's always nice to see. We have about 35, 40 people joining us so far. Give some folks a chance to join us. But this webinar, we're going to go through what it will take to gain adequate proficiency in Sanskritam. And I even got on this journey with Chandragi in one of these beginning to Sanskrit courses, but I wasn't able to get through it. But it is such a serious and important task to be able to access, right, the texts that constitute the Hindu world. So in terms of how much time and focus it will take, we'll get into those questions. And Chandraji, I think you have a whole presentation. And more broadly at HUA, we believe that proficiency in Sanskrit is integral to gaining expertise in Hinduism. And therefore, we are committed to creating many pathways for learning Sanskrit while being sensitive to different levels of proficiency that prospective students may have in the language. And that's always a common question that we get is, but if for your particular level, if you already know the script or don't, or you took some courses at some point, or this is your first time getting into, we're very sensitive to that. And so in this webinar, we'll get into this, different paths. And let me give Chandraji an introduction and also give a shout out to the people who are joining us, Dr. Promo from Georgia. We have San Diego, Ohio, Florida, South Africa, Connecticut, Sydney. Welcome everyone from around the world. As we get into this webinar, we're going to take you on show potentially the journey to becoming fluent in Sanskritam. So our special panelist, guru, Sanskritam expert is Sri Chandraji Chandrasekhar Raghu. He's actually got an IT career spanning 4 decades and is currently working as, I think, still a vice president of digital transformation in Houston. He was an informal student of Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati and has been teaching Sanskritam since 1991. He's a founder chairman of the nonprofit organization Arsha Vidya Bharti. And actually, Mr. Raghuji, Chandraji comes from a parampara, a lineage of great Sanskritam scholars and poets, including Polagam Sri Ramashastri and his father, Sri Raghunandanan, recognized scholar at Madras Sanskrit College. So Chandraji, let me hand it off to you, and welcome to everyone joining us on this webinar on your journey towards Sanskrit proficiency.
Thank you, Ankurji. I really appreciate your introduction. Let me start off with with a small prayer that most of you would have heard in some of the other courses or your own prayer every day. So I'll start off with that. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. So what I just said is what we call as a universal prayer. This is not specific to any specific community or anything like that. This is a universal prayer where we are saying, let everybody live happily. Let everybody be disease free. Let everybody get to prosperity. And may no one suffer, any kind of sorrow. That's what we just said in this beautiful language called Sanskritam. The word Sanskritam itself is interesting. A lot of places people use the word as Sanskrit, but it is actually not Sanskrit. It is Sanskritam. Sanskritam is the correct way of pronouncing it, and it actually stands for 2 words, Samyak plus Kritam. Kritam means what has been done, what has been created, what has been built, what has been designed. And Samyak means very well. So that which has been created very well, designed very well. So that is what this word Sanskritam means. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen here to take you through some information that we have readily available for you. And then you can post your questions in the chat window. if that works better for you. And that way, I also have my, co-teacher, Srinathji, join us here. So Srinathji is from Dallas, and I am here in Houston. And we started off on this program, in April 2020, last year. We wanted to put together, both of us have been teaching Sanskritam for quite a few years before that. And in relation to the Hindu University of America, this is what we started off in April of 2020. We wanted to open up this beautiful, language, that we all hear about everywhere. People quote Sanskrit verses, people say all the nice things there. People say that I come from a Vedic family, but I haven't myself studied any Sanskritam. So we wanted to open it up to the entire globe. We wanted to see, if this kind of an open university model that Hindu University has, you can pretty much do everything from home. You don't need to go into a building or anything. All it really requires is your commitment level. What kind of commitment you have? Are you a serious seeker, or you just want to claim that you also happen to come across some Sanskritam? So that is where you make that distinction of pursuing this whole thing in a more serious way. Ankurji, can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
It
And
says a certificate course. Yeah. Okay. So what we have here, even though it says on the screen here intermediate level, this is both beginner and intermediate level. Together we are looking at about 8 quarters of study here. Okay. In Hindu University terminology, we call it SAN, which stands for Sanskritam or Sanskrit, and then 0001, and it goes all the way to 0008. So that is the curriculum here. When I say a quarter, what I mean by that is 10 weeks of study. 10 weeks of study on this particular course, and right at the beginner level, SAN 0001 is going to be offered in the fall quarter, which is starting in the first week of October. And each quarter is 10 weeks of study. Each week you have a Zoom session for about 1.5 to 2 hours. This particular class has 2 hours for this fall quarter only, because we have a clash with some holidays coming up. So that's why it is 2 hours. And then it is going to be on Thursday nights, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the evening, Eastern time, Central time. So that is 8 to 10 Eastern time. And it is just one class per
Chandraji,
week. Yeah.
do you have a slide with that information? And maybe you could
Yeah,
go to
it is
full
coming up.
screen.
I just wanted to give them the concept of the quarter first. It's 10 weeks per quarter, and then in the 11th week there is an exam, what we call as the quarter end exam, and that's going to be for about 2 hours. Okay. So in terms of how we are going to pursue this is where we set the learning objectives. We literally do not assume any prior Sanskritam knowledge at all. If you are at that level, then this is a course that is very much, the right one to choose. On the other hand, if you know a little bit of Sanskritam, or you know the Devanagari alphabet, it is possible to kind of fast track, to maybe the second or third quarter of the course. These courses are all offered in parallel, depending on how much audience we have. The only constraint we have is there should be at least about 15 students who are seriously committed. So if you are starting at the level where you do not even know the script of this language, and you need some practice there, we start at that level. It is open from high school onwards. Anybody in the ninth grade onwards can join from anywhere in the world, as long as you are able to commit to that 2 hours of class per week. And then followed by that, you also need to give at least twice that time, about 4 to 5 hours per week of self-study. So that is the expectation here. So in terms of what you can expect from the course, we want you to get familiar with the dhvani. We call it dhvani, dhvani. Dhvani means the sound. Sanskritam is a very, very phonetic language. Just the very fact that you're listening to Sanskritam, or you're able to recite Sanskritam words or verses, that itself is a blessing, because it creates a new energy level in your brain. Different neurons are activated. There is a higher level of brain activity when you learn this language. Just listening itself gives you that level of maturity, level of activity in your brain. And then of course there is a layer. I usually typically tell my students, imagine this whole Sanskritam language as a car. Okay, whatever is your favorite car, it may be a Tesla, it may be a Mercedes Benz, whatever that is. For this car to go, you need all the four tires working well. Okay, and then you also need to focus on the steering, and of course there is a gearbox and there is an engine behind all of this. So I typically say the four tires or the four wheels of the car, they are equivalent to Shravanam. Shravanam means listening. You need to be able to listen to the nuances of the Sanskritam pronunciation. So that is your first level. And then the second level comes your own pathanam. Pathanam means reading, your own pathanam, and ucharanam, being able to pronounce the script, the syllables correctly. Okay, there are syllables which are aspirated, there are others which are non-aspirated. So being able to pronounce these letters or syllables correctly is the second stage. And then the third stage comes you being able to write. Lekhanam is the third stage. Lekhanam, being able to write something in Sanskritam. Maybe you've got a passage written in your own mother tongue. You want to see if you can try and say the same, write the same thing in Sanskritam. That's a good thing to do. And then the fourth stage comes you being able to converse in Sanskritam, to talk to other people using Sanskritam, words and sentences. So that is your fourth level. So that takes care of the wheels. And then comes your comprehension level, which is what? The steering wheel. If you're learning to drive a car and you're focusing only within the car, then you're not going to be a good driver, are you? You have to look at the road, what's happening out there. You have to look at who else is driving on the road. All that comes through comprehension. That is what your steering wheel is. We call it avagamanam. Avagamanam means being able to comprehend what is going on, what you're learning in Sanskritam. And then finally, you have all these things, that you don't need to know all the details initially, but later on you will come across, and that is your engine. You should at least know there is an engine. You should at least know there is a transmission. So this is where your vyakaranam comes. Vyakaranam means the grammar. Any language has its own grammar. But what we try to do here, what distinguishes us from all other avenues of learning you have for this beautiful language is the fact that we follow a natural approach as against learning things by rote or by memorization. Here we assume, it is the well-tested approach that's been followed by another institution called the Sanskrit Bharati all over the globe. What they do is they follow the approach the baby takes. We have all been babies. We all know how the baby develops a language skill. First, it just hears everybody around. Then one day it starts talking. And that day is a big day for the parents. My baby has started saying some words. Then comes your, writing skills. And then finally comes your, your grammar and other things. So this is the same kind of approach that we are following, and it is different from the traditional approach to teaching Sanskritam. And the earlier we get you onto the bandwagon in terms of talking in Sanskritam, even if it is a defective sentence, it is perfectly fine. What is important is you made the effort to say something in Sanskritam, to expand your vocabulary. So that is our approach to this whole process of teaching. So that's what we have done here. So what I have here is a set of objectives that I just described on the screen. And then this one here, this particular screen captures the whole HUA curriculum for this course. If you see here on the left hand side, we call it the CPSP, Certification Program in Sanskrit Proficiency or Sanskritam Proficiency. And it depends on where you want to take your Sanskritam car. If your commitment is only about 4 to 5 hours per week, including the 1 or 2 hours of class, then you have the green boxes here on the left hand side, where you see high school and above, and then you see the the 8 courses there, SAN 0001 to 0008. This is basically 8 quarters. So together it is about 80 weeks, 80 weeks. You can either commit to the whole thing, or you can do 1 quarter at a time. You can suspend 1 quarter and resume the next quarter. whatever it is, all that flexibility is inbuilt into the program. So here we have, each one of these gets you 3 credits, okay, 1.5 actually. So 0001 and 0002 together gives you 3 credits. Like that, it goes for 12 credits. And if you're, if you're more serious, I have more time. I'm actually retired. My nest is empty. I don't have any kids around. I don't have anything to worry about, and I have more time for Sanskritam. For those of you a little bit more serious, we have these yellow boxes. These are actually courses where you have 2 classes every week. Together it's about 3 hours of Zoom time. The Zoom sessions are pretty much interactive. At any point in time, you can ask questions to the teacher, you can get answers. So that is your Zoom session, making it interactive. And we also follow a very well time-tested set of books published by Sanskrit Bharati again. So these will be made available to you one way or the other as a printed copy if you are in the US, or as a PDF if you are outside of the US. So that is your 1001 SAN 1001. And that again goes through all the way 1004. And then it goes on the right hand side, the white boxes SAN 2001 to 2004. So that again is an 8 quarter, kind of course. And some of you may be even more serious. I really want to pursue an MA course in Sanskritam. I really want to go to the level of PhD. Is it possible? Is this course curriculum going to allow me to do that? Yes, we do allow for that too, if that is your aspiration. Yes, and that is where you see this decision box here. At the end of your SAN 1004, you can make a decision whether you want to take a proficiency test to enter the MA curriculum. The MA study is about, maybe you can do it in two years, or you can do it in 4 years, depending on what else is going on in your life. So what I'm trying to point out here, is that the structure of this course, whole curriculum, is very, very flexible and takes you wherever you start and wherever you want to head up to. But it's up to you to decide what is your level of commitment on a weekly basis. If you can, spare only about 5 hours, depending on what else is going on, then I would suggest go with the green boxes on the left hand side. But if you can be a little bit more serious, you can give twice that time, like about 10 hours per week. Then go for the yellow boxes. And that will basically, by the end of that curriculum, by 1004, some people actually mature even earlier, like 1003 or 1002. They already feel very good about it. And they say, is it okay for me to take the proficiency test for MA at this stage? We say, absolutely. Why don't you give it a go? And there have been people, good examples, where they finished 1002 and they've taken the proficiency test and they're already straight into the MA level course. So this is all possible, provided you just go with the curriculum, see where you are, do the improvements, do the real self-study, take our help as your coaches along the way, and you go wherever you like. See, there are some things that we need to understand here about this study, this kind of study. Some people join these courses with an aspiration. The first question they'll ask is, will I be able to take a Bhagavad Gita verse, and will I be able to figure out the meaning on my own without looking at a bhashyam or a commentary by so many other people? Bhagavad Gita is one textbook which is interpreted in so many different ways. But I really want to go to the original. Exactly what did Krishna say to Arjuna? One of the most popular verses in Bhagavad Gita it starts with karmanyevadhikaraste. Yeah? This particular verse, Krishna does not say you cannot have desires. There is all kinds of misinterpretations for this particular sloka. Krishna does not say you cannot have desires. All he says is you have control only over your actions. You do not know, it is not that whatever result you're expecting from that action will always come true. So you have no control over the results, but you have control over what you can do in terms of your own action. That's what he says. But in a lot of places where the commentators say, you should not have any expectations when you do any work. That's not quite what Krishna said. So these things require a little bit more higher level of appreciation And that comes only by discovering the language, to get to a certain level with the language skills to be able to figure out these things. So some people ask me, will I, at the end of 1004, will I be able to, take a Bhagavad Gita verse and, interpret it myself? Absolutely, yes. We make that available to you. In fact, if your only focus is Bhagavad Gita, we have another set of 8 courses. It is SAN 3001. That again goes for 8 quarters. It is 2 classes per week. They go verse by verse in Bhagavad Gita, explaining everything to you. Okay, so it depends on where you want to take your Sanskritam car, as I put it in the front. So this is your curriculum here, and when I say here high school, I'm saying that we do not assume even the knowledge of the script. We teach you right from 0001. We take you through the script, how to pronounce each one correctly. Then we start making some simple words. Then we figure out a little bit of grammar, and then we start making some sentences. Analyzing why this is correct and why that is not correct. Then we slowly build up your vocabulary. By about 0004, everybody who is joining at 0001 would have close to about 500 words in their vocabulary. Now I'm saying minimum, okay? More than that is possible, but 500 words in Sanskritam in your vocabulary, whether it is a noun or on a verb or some kind of wise saying, all of these are possible within that short time. You're looking at what, about 10 times 40 weeks possible to get to that level. Okay, so hold off your questions. We'll come to that at the end of the session. So this is your overall curriculum. Then what I have here is, by the way, this whole PDF will be available to you for you to review after the webinar is over. So here we have, we start the script and sounds. We go to the words and vocabulary. We start making some sentences and some comprehension. We go for some stories in simple Sanskritam. We try to figure out how that is all put together. And then we also go for some proverbs, or what I call as subhashitani, which are basically wise sayings. Only 2 lines, but they convey a very powerful message. The frequently used one I use, is a mixture of humor in Sanskritam. Okay, there's one subhashitam that says, Ushtranam vivaheshu Geetam gayanti gardabaha parasparam prashansanti aho dhvanihi aho rupam. Yeah, if I say that, what it really means is, in the wedding of camels, the donkeys are singing songs, and the camels are saying to their donkeys, "What a wonderful voice you have." And then the donkeys are saying back to the camels, okay, they say, "What a beautiful face you have. How beautiful you look." So if we take this, it's just a 2-liner. It's called as wise saying in Sanskritam, subhashitam. What it's trying to say in a humorous way is that even to appreciate somebody, you need to have a level of eligibility. Otherwise it lacks any meaning. It doesn't make any sense when the camel is appreciating the donkey. We all know what is the voice of the donkey, and similarly how the camel looks. And of course, the donkey can say, "You are beautiful" to the camel. And the camel can say, "Your voice is the sweetest I've heard." Yeah. So I'm saying this kind of wise saying, we literally have thousands of these in Sanskrit, each one conveying a very powerful message. What is this all about? To make us all better human beings. That's what this Deva Bhasha is about. That's what this whole language is about. The whole heritage is about. So I just gave you a simple example. And there are numerous others that we pick up during the course. We help you navigate through, wherever you're starting and wherever you want to get to. We make it very easy, natural flowing, and making it a lot more fun. That is the whole purpose of this whole program. All right. So this is your first 4 quarters here. At this stage, some people may say, I have more time. Can I switch over to the more serious stream? So at the end of 0004, people may say, can I jump off to the one in the middle in the flow chart that I said before? This one here, this stream of yellow boxes. Yes, we are flexible. You can do that. Okay. So that is that. And then you have the next four quarters here. And I would say by the time you start on 0005, you're no more a beginner, or actually at an intermediate level, because there's a new set of books that come about and they take you to a different level, in terms of, how do I figure out what I call as the case endings in Sanskritam, case endings or vibhaktis. How do I do various tenses in Sanskritam? How do I communicate moods? Any language can only fill up about 30 to 40% of communication. The remaining 60% comes from where? Your body language, how you place an accent on certain syllables or certain words as you say it. Okay. So I'm saying this language is, apart from your being very phonetic, apart from being very, rich grammatically, and in terms of its heritage, you name it, the Shastras, it is all there. You talk about yoga, very profound textbooks are available in Sanskritam. You talk about Ayurveda, life sciences, very profound, advices are given depending on which season that you're going through, or what is your profile. Is it Pitta, Kapha, things like that. So based on questions, there are very specific advices you can get from Ayurvedic study. So these scriptures are all there in Sanskritam. It needs somebody, which is what myself and Srinathji we are doing here as a service to the community. It is not that HUA wants to become rich by all these courses or anything like that. This is a very, very nominal fee that you're paying. Something like $200 for the whole quarter of the course. Okay.
Actually, on that point, Chandraji, and maybe I can jump in and also give Srinathji a proper introduction. We're going to have a $50 discount for a few days on your beginning on the 0001, the first one where you're learning the Devanagari script. I've dropped links to the courses, the two streams in the chat. And yeah, very nominal. We want people to learn this, and we've made it accessible at Chandraji and Srinathji. And let me just give Srinathji a brief introduction. He's been from at the start of this program with HUA and crucial to how this program has grown and developed. Srinathji actually holds a MS degree in engineering, MBA degree in finance, information technology patents, but his areas of interest include Sanskrit, Hinduism, Vaishnava traditions. He's actually from the Dallas, Texas area, and was formerly the area coordinator for Nama Incorporated, then Samskrita Bharati USA, as well as volunteer for Sanatana Dharma Foundation. He's currently a program manager in Bank of America, but he's such a crucial liaison for Sanskrit studies between Samskrita Bharati USA and HUA to get this out there. So Srinathji, maybe if you want to, I don't know what the order exactly was, but I apologize, I didn't give you an introduction at the start of the webinar.
That's all right. Srinathji, do you want to say anything?
Yeah. No worries, Ankurji and Chandraji. Thanks for the opportunity, and you said it all. So we're teachers here. Chandraji is teaching a lot more courses and doing other things for this program. So more than happy to assist. Ping me anytime, or the others on this chat. Regards.
Yeah. So here is something I want to tell you. We have been teaching, close to about 500 students on the various courses here since we started April 2020. And we actually find a lot of people have developed a lifetime friendships through this curriculum, through this program. They have formed their own study groups too, and they're getting very smarter as the quarters go. They get very smart, and they even post some very interesting questions. And so this is all open university style. Even the quarter end exam we have, it is open book. Okay, you can refer to the book and answer. Only problem is you have only 2 hours to answer. Yeah, you have the entire Google open for you. You have the whole book open for you, and so it is a different kind of approach. It is not the traditional approach where you're expected to memorize a whole lot of things and then kind of go to the exam hall. This is not that kind of a paradigm. It's an entirely different paradigm, where we focus on the foundation, we focus on the base concepts that you need to understand, and then we cover some examples from the book itself. The textbooks are very well designed. They again, they do not complicate things. They take you through a very, very gradual approach to writing and talking in Sanskritam. So those are all the plus points you have in your favor. And even the quarter end exams, they test you only on the concepts. We've all got other things in our life right now with the COVID and other things, which are not quite according to our expectation. The only benefit that COVID has brought to us is probably that we can do all these courses right from the comfort of your home. That's probably the biggest benefit you have. But having said that, there are other things that are at the back of our mind. We do not have enough space up in our brains, to hold that much of memory about this language. So we try to focus on the concepts, strengthening your foundation along the whole way and making it fun at the same time. I see a lot, many people, many of my current students are here. They can also feel free to text others on the chat window. I see Hudan Sharma, for example. She's already my current student in at least, 3 other courses. She's doing an excellent job. She knows where she started in 0001, where she got to today. She's very, I'm proud of her and she is proud of me too, I'm hoping. Yeah. So this is the way things work here. And, you can share your thoughts with other people here. So let me see if I can finish this presentation quickly. Um, so yeah, this is what I described to you. Basically, it's a 1.5 hour to 2 hours class every week. And these are the typical books that we follow. These are all from Sanskrit Bharati. So they are published in Bangalore in India, and they are very well put together. Even though they all look like, oh, this looks like it's all kids books. Well, it's not quite. Once you open it only, you will know. Okay. Of course, in India, the kids are studying up to this level. But in terms of, even if we are adults, we have had students right from 15 years all the way to 95 years on these courses in the last year and a half or so. So maybe the first book is very easy. A lot of people have a Hindi background, so they say, I know Hindi already, so I know this script. Well, that stops at the first book, because the second book we start with the combination letters, and that becomes very tricky even for people who know Hindi. Okay. So if you may have a question, suppose I know the basic Hindi script. Now, can I join the course number 2, which is using the book number 2? It's possible. We just go through some basic, checks, asking you to read a page. If you're able to read that clearly, then we say, okay, you're good to go. There is no real written test or anything like that. We just, talk to you over the phone, make sure that you fit into that group, and we let you skip the 0001, go straight to 0002. Okay. So depending on where you are, we are here to help you make the right choice in terms of the courses. And these books are lovely. They are not really kid stuff. It starts with the kids, but it does go, quite, by the time you get to number 3 or number 4 book here, you would be quite, you would be using some of these vibhaktis that I said, case endings. You would be using some tenses, past tense, present tense, future tense, like that. How do I make a request to somebody? How do I order somebody? These are things that you learn along the way. Okay. And then this is the next level of 4 courses, 0005 to 8. Again, it takes you to a higher level. And here in this particular PDF, we go ahead and describe for each specific course what you can expect as the outcome, what is the learning objective, and what you would be able to do by the end of that quarter. That is what is described here. And it goes like that for each of these courses. It gives you all that list. You can review all that. And then in terms of your grading, you know we have at least about 3 or 4 homework assignments. During the 10 weeks you'll have 3 or 4 homework assignments, and each homework is given about 10 days for you to do, whether you consult Google or you consult your classmates or you take a little bit of help from somebody else. It doesn't matter. You'll have about 10 days to do each homework. Okay, and these are graded. For example, if you have 4 homeworks, together that'll give you 40%, 40 marks. If you did everything correctly, you will get about 40 marks out of 100, for the whole course. And then we have the quarter end exam in the 11th week, which is about 2 hours, and that gives you 50 marks, 50. And that leaves only 10 more marks, and that is basically given to people, people attending the classes, participating in the classes, and also completing a course survey. That's where you get your 10 more marks. So that is the grading system. And we have the letter grading also, A, B, C, and D, depending on how much percentage you have gained. So it is not that all your 100% comes from the quarter end exam. You make your grade along the whole way, the journey is more important. And so that is why this structure is followed. Okay, let me go to, this is one of our teachers. In fact, she is going to be one of the co-teachers for the 0001 starting on October the 7th. Her name is Parvati. Unfortunately, she was teaching some other class, so she could not join here in this webinar. And then this is another teacher. She's teaching the more serious seekers. She's on the 1001 curriculum. And again, she's already teaching a lot of students, very, very impressive teacher. Then you have Srinathji, who is also on this call. He's available for you in case you have any questions. You can put a question on the chat window. And this is me. And in terms of when these courses start, they're all there on the hua.edu website. These are the courses that are being offered in this fall quarter, starting early in October. And it kind of goes until I would say December, the first week or second week. And in each case, it is the first course is for 2 hours. That's because there are some holidays clashing with the schedule. But other courses are 1.5 hours per week, each one. And for any more details, you can always contact our director of enrollments. Pragya ji is very, very responsive, whether it is on WhatsApp or email. She's very good at coming back to you with the right answers. Okay, and in terms of how you register, it would be good if you can commit to all the 8 quarters. But if you cannot do that, you want to do one at a time, that is fine. And like Ankurji was saying, it is the 0001 has a $200 course fee plus books that we send to you. If you're living in the US, we send you the printed books. And if you're outside of USA, then we give you access to the PDF version of the book. Again, this is all copyrighted material, so you would be able to get that from HUA. And that is how the whole thing is put together. And Ankurji said that if you enroll on the 001 course, from today until I think it is Wednesday or Tuesday, Ankurji. Yeah. So for a few days there is a discount of $50, so it's only 150. But these things, these numbers, they do not come anywhere near what you would be paying to a typical university in the US, because the intention is not really to make it overpriced or anything, to make this kind of excellent source of knowledge available to more and more people. That is the objective of Hindu University. And so this is all very, very nominal, nothing major. Okay, and then that is about it. I am done with the presentation now. The session is now open for any questions that people may want to ask. You can unmute yourself depending on how Ankurji wants to coordinate. We are here, both Srinathji and I myself will answer all your questions.
Great. And some people were putting questions in the Q&A box, and Srinathji was going over them. A lot of people have specific questions to their own level, and we like to take that individual attention and depending on an assessment test, and then make sure that we get you plugged in. The timing was an issue, right? There's different courses that are starting at different times. I mean, we're trying to make this accessible to everyone, and so we can't offer enough courses that fit to everyone's schedule. But if you want to talk about how we've decided on which ones we're at, and I think everything is correct, but some people were confused because one starts on this day, one starts on that time.
Yeah. Well, here is the good news. Even for some reason, if you had to miss a class a complete video recording of the class session is available to you. Okay, I think on the HUA website, maybe there was at least one error I noticed. The 0001 course is on Thursday evenings. Okay, 7 to 8, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time, or 8 to 10, Eastern Time. Okay, I think there was some error there. But otherwise, these courses are pretty much, like I will be teaching for every weekday and including Saturday and Sunday at the same time, 7 to 8:30 Central Time. So it is, those are the options you have. If you really see a lot of conflict, you could still follow the recorded video and do complete your assignments. But remember that there is nothing that is as good as being in the class, being interactive with your teacher and your classmates, asking the questions along the way. That is probably the best value you can get. And in fact, a lot of students, they do that as well. And then after the recording is available, typically recording is available within a day or so after the class is over. They also use that again to review the material, and some of them engage in study groups, to explore further and come to the same page. So all those tools are available to you to your advantage. I hope that answers your question. Okay, what's the next one, Ankurji?
I'm just still going through. Some people have specific ones. And Srinaji is answering individual questions. Srinaji, do you have any elaboration on any of the ones that you think you want to because you're typing full answers to people?
Yeah, I just want to say two things. One is, we should have the links for both the SAN 0001 series and SAN 1001 series, right? That's what I requested Ankur to post. And then if there's any inconsistency on the class timing, I don't know if there's a slide here which shows the timing, but we should at least
Yeah,
put
I
it
did
out
say
there saying.
what is here is the timing.
Okay, yeah. So just please go by this one because some of the website links may not have updated correctly. Okay, we apologize for that.
Yeah, what is in this PDF is correct. Those are the times.
Well, okay.
All right. Any other questions that we can answer?
It's always interesting to hear the age range. Just somebody's asking about the 8th grade student. But I'm always excited, and I love hearing about the range of people, 80 to 8, who are interested and can still participate.
Yeah. People may have 60 years, 70 years in terms of age, but with respect to their Sanskritam knowledge, they can still be in the teenage. So that's the way to look at it. And each level has its own challenge. We always make sure that the audience is fully understood in each of our courses. The teachers go the extra mile to make sure we understand each one's profile and help them out, especially from people who do not know anything about this language, no script and no background in Hindi. They're all totally fresh to this, and we help them out. We go the extra mile to help them out to come up to speed. And there are many students here who are dialed in. They can all vouch for what we do there to bring them up to speed. Okay, what's next, Ankurji?
So we have some questions open. Prerequisites, are there prerequisites for the Bhagavad Gita series?
Okay, that one I can go over. The Bhagavad Gita series, typically the code is SAN 3001. That course is for the serious seekers who already know Sanskritam, who can comprehend Sanskritam. Okay, so if you don't fit into that, what we suggest you do is you do the beginner or intermediate level course first, kind of come up to speed with that, because the whole Bhagavad Gita series is all going to be the medium of instruction is Sanskritam. Okay, we may spend about 2 or 3 classes, just refreshing your basics, but very quickly it goes into 100% Sanskritam mode. Whereas the other beginner and intermediate level things, we use English to start with. Then depending on how the audience matures, we slowly shift gears and to make it Sanskritam. Okay. So it depends on the who are all enrolling, what is their background and all that. But I am saying that the beginner and intermediate level, they have English as the medium of instruction, at least for the first 3 or 4 quarters. But the Bhagavad Gita, right from the first quarter, 3001, it is after the first 2 or 3 initial classes, it goes into 100% Sanskritam. So you need to be prepared for that. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Okay. Any other question?
And Dr. Brahmo's kind of asking about the assessment, right? When do we do the assessment? How does it happen? Shinachi's kind of answering that, but
the assessment is depending on which course you have selected. Okay. If you have selected, say, for example, 0001, there is no assessment for that. If you have selected 0002, again, no assessment for that. 0002, we just do a quick check whether you're able to recognize some Sanskrit, alphabets. That's about it, very basic. But once you go, if you want to go straight to SAN 0003, then it is a little bit more challenging. So we make sure that you go through a 2-hour test before you join 0003. So that is your 000 series. If you want to go the other way, like 1001, you are a little bit more serious. You have about 10 hours to commit to Sanskritam every week. You want to quickly ramp up to your MA level challenges. Then, SAN 1001 does not have any entry criteria apart from being able to read some, maybe a few words in Sanskritam. That's about it. No written test, nothing. But if you want to go straight away into 1002, then it's a higher level of challenge. So you need to go through a test. So this is the way it is structured. But if you want to go straight to MA, there are some people, I want to really go for MA. I don't want all the, I know Sanskritam. I can comprehend. If somebody is teaching me in Sanskritam, I want to go straight to SAN 3001. Yes, it is possible, but you have to go through a 2 hours test. And the score expected is 60%. You need to score 60% in the assessment test, then you go straight into 3001. So in other words, the beginning and the intermediate level, at the entry level, there is no prerequisite there. Okay, 0001 or 1001, there is no entry criteria there.
and so like this next fall quarter, we don't have a SAN 0002 because we're continuing from the last quarter.
Correct.
So depending on the quarter, we're making it fit. So again, it's depending on interest and enrollment and people who are in the right space to continue. So
typically you're the teacher who you start with in 0001 or 1001, they take you all the way through the 8 quarters. They come along with you because they know where the audience is, so they take the whole class with them quarter after quarter.
yeah.
Okay.
And so Hindi is not a prerequisite. It's Vin is just asking. It's just sometimes it's helpful, if you've learned a language before, some of the tools will come in handy. But we go from, like Chandragi says, from baby level all the way to proficiency. I don't have any other Q&A box questions. Let me go back.
But if we, on the other hand, I wanted to make sure this point is clear. If we notice that, our student is at a lot higher level, then we are flexible enough to recommend to you a different course, which is also offered in the same quarter or the following quarter. That kind of flexible arrangement is there. We give you a credit for that, and you can shift over to the other one. Those arrangements are possible, but unless I cannot assume people's level of maturity. We have to go through at least a couple of things. maybe a couple of weeks to understand each other, see where you are, depending on the questions that you are asking in the class. That helps us a lot as teachers. We know where you're coming from. We then advise you, why don't you consider going to this other course? Instead of waiting patiently for one more quarter here, you consider switching to the other course, which may very well be taught by the same teacher too. It's all possible. Yeah. Okay. Any
Great.
other questions?
We use the Devanagari script. I think that was mentioned. That is the medium that we are using. Any comments on that? It's fine. No. All right. And then on the textbook front, once you register, Chandraji, do you have a plan? Classes start that end of first week of October. Once you register, and sooner the better. Register sooner so you get your books sooner.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As soon as your registration is confirmed, we ship you the books. If you are within the US, if you are outside of the US, we give you a link from where you can download the PDF. It's all copyrighted material, so you're not allowed to share with anyone outside of this course. But it is that is available as another option. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Do you want to I see people here from Portugal, from Sydney, from Canada, all kinds of exciting places.
Yeah, actually, Kumar has his hand raised in the participant window.
Okay.
Maybe I can unmute him if you want to take a question, or Kumarji.
Sure. Yeah. Feel free to.
Let's see. Kumarji, if your hand is raised, you're allowed to speak. We're in webinar mode, so
it would be good if you can also enable your video, Kumarji.
Definitely, I'm trying to see how to do that.
Okay. If it's difficult, don't worry. If it is difficult, don't worry.
My apologies. I'm on a phone. I'm outside my home. Otherwise, it would be easy.
Okay. No problem. Go ahead.
My apologies. So a couple of quick questions. I do want to join as a starter, although I have studied Sanskrit way back when using my own mother tongue script, which is Telugu. I don't know if I think I have to learn the Devanagari script, which shouldn't be too difficult. It's one-to-one mapping, so I'm not too worried about it. The question I have in my mind is that I see the textbooks you're going to send. Would you be using some example poems or something from other books so that we can ground our learning, or how does that work?
Yes, we always add more than what is in the book to give you a more strong foundation. So here is the beauty of it. In your case, I see that you're very familiar with Sanskritam words, but not in the Sanskritam script. Yeah.
Correct.
So you might have used it. What the beauty. If you know any Indian language, which is basically a child of Sanskritam, you already know about 30% of Sanskritam words. You're ready to comprehend the words, but you may not know how to write them. So this is again an area where we have a lot of students coming with that kind of profile. We help them come up to speed in terms of the script, and that is possible. But on the other hand, we are also open to people who just do not know any Indian language. They can only know English or Spanish. We are here to help you come up to speed.
Absolutely. I just want to conclude with one thing, and I really want to say thank you to everybody. I don't know, I don't want to name names because I might mess up not saying everybody's name, but the whole organization, I just want to say thank you all. You guys are doing an amazing service to the rest of us. So I just want to say thanks. And I just want to make sure that this is October 7th in the evening, 8 to 10 Eastern time, right? Because there were a couple of different times.
No, that is the correct time.
Okay, first course. Okay, so I look forward to getting an email to register from Ankurji.
Yes.
And I'm putting I'm muting myself again, just to give somebody else a chance.
Thank you, Kumarji. You had a good question. Yeah.
Thank you, Kumarji, for those kind words as well. We have a couple other people who have their hands up. What do you think, Chandraji?
Absolutely. I'm available for
Kapil Deo.
long you want.
How do I say that name? Maybe you can introduce yourself, allowing you to talk. Kapil Deo.
Oh, he has been on my course.
Oh yeah. So
Go ahead, Kapil Deo.
Oh, great.
You want to unmute and ask a question, Kapil Devji?
Guruji, Raghu, and Guruji, Srinathji, Namaste.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding this webinar. Yoga of the Bhagavad Gita, course number Yoga 2001, starts on Saturday, October 9th from 11 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. How much Sanskritam one needs to know in order to be successful in that course?
What is the course ID again?
Yoga, Y-O-G 2001.
Yeah, that one does not require any. Is it 2001? You say?
Yes, Guruji, 2001.
But the prefix before that is YOG, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's all in English. That is not heavily Sanskritam. Medium of instruction is English there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Guruji.
That is more about the concepts of yoga, the various aspects of yoga, things like that. That doesn't belong to the Sanskrit curriculum. So you're okay there.
Oh, thank you. So what level of the 001 to 008 course sequence should one finish first before taking Bhagavad Gita Sanskrit base?
It depends on what is your course choice. If your course choice for Bhagavad Gita is SAN 3001, I would say you should do at least up to SAN 0005. But if your course choice for Bhagavad Gita is similar to your YOG, because Hindu University offers a whole lot of courses which have a medium of instruction as English. They go over the topics, but it's not entirely going up to the verse level, but at the conceptual level, what is yoga about, what is Bhagavad Gita about. So there are courses available which have medium of instruction as English. But if you want to go for the original Sanskritam text from where you want to understand, and so your choice is 3001, SAN 3001, then I would suggest you should complete up to SAN 0005, or in the mainstream, maybe 1002, SAN 1002. So again, if you have specific questions relating to your profile, we are available to answer. If you contact Pragyaji, Pragyaji will get in touch with me or Srinathji, and we will make the appropriate recommendation for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for clarifying. Appreciate it. Thank
No
you.
problems.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Chandragi, you want to stop sharing screen? We got Dr.
Oh, sure.
Brahmo coming on next, allowing to speak. There you go.
Yeah, hi. I put it in the chat. I think a question and answer. Just a question that I do know, Telugu and Hindi, Devanagari script, and learn little bit Sanskrit. So I was just wondering if I could directly go to level 2. I know you're not offering that at this time.
I would suggest, if you know your combination letters in Sanskritam, okay, this is a very critical, condition. If you just know the single letters but not the combination letters, then what I'm suggesting here will not work. But if you know the single letters, you also know the combination letters, you can straight away join 0003, which is being offered this coming quarter.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Who's the next person having a question?
We had Kumarji already. Nobody else has a hand up. Let's see in the Q&A box. Are we shipping to Canada also?
No, we don't.
No, we're not shipping to Canada.
See, unfortunately, the USA and Canada are neighboring countries, but the complications involved in shipping a book across the border is just mind-boggling. For a book that costs about $5, we'll spend about $25, in shipping charges, which is not feasible, and so we will only give it to you as a, as a PDF. But there are some options available. Like for example, we have a Sanskrit Bharati Canada, branch, which has its own website where you can order the book and get the printed copy there itself in Canadian dollars instead of shipping it from US. So we can send you the links from where you can get it. Sanskrit Bharati is an organization that is at a global level. We have, they have branches all over. There may be some countries where it is not there, and there the only choice is PDF. But if you have a local branch of Sanskrit Bharati, then you can get the printed book from there.
Great. I've dropped a link to all of the courses, Sanskritam courses that we're offering in the fall. You can check out, and as Chandraji said, we'll have individual conversations with people to help you get plugged into the right course for you and help you on this journey. So please do take a look at that, and Pragyaji will be following up. We'll include more links in the email, including a recording to this webinar. And that's part of the benefit of being with Hindu University of America and our platform, our learning management system, the emails, the logins, the way that the quizzes and the assessments, it's all structured week by week in a very proper academic format.
It is good academics, but at the same time, it is also good fun. That is what we, that's where we specialize. We want to make it a unique experience for you. And so that is the way it is structured. Yeah. And Pragyaji is very good. She is your first point of contact, and she knows how to track me or Srinathji down, as urgent as you want it to be. So she's really good at that. Yeah.
Okay. No more.
Where is HUA located in the USA, from where the class will be taught? Well, this is a very, very widely distributed world. I am in Houston. Srinathji is in Dallas. The Hindu University headquarters is in Orlando, Florida. And a lot of our teachers join from Europe, all sorts of places, some even from India, depending on which course and what it is. It's a totally distributed world, and that's what is possible these days. Thanks to COVID or thanks to Zoom, that has been, in fact, even otherwise, whether COVID or not, our model has been, to open it up to the entire world. And so it doesn't really matter to you where the teacher is and where is HUA. HUA is, of course, the headquarters is in Orlando, Florida. But all classes are 100% online. You're right.
We'll do some regional stuff later. If you want to get plugged into other aspects of HUA, just follow the email list. We have a newsletter. We have weekly meetings to advance the university, and volunteers are welcome to participate. But if you're on this journey to learn Sanskrit, these are your two teachers, and this program that they've set up, Chandraji and Srinathji, along with all of this, it's wonderful. I'm sorry, I'm going to get back on, I promise. But it does take dedication and time, and you got to be serious about it. Otherwise, it's just not fair. It's not fair to.
There are actually 4 other Sanskritam faculty members who are not there on this call, but they're all going to be teaching from next quarter onwards. In fact, a couple of them already teaching. So it's one thing I wanted to say. Whenever we teach here, both myself, Srinathji, and the other teachers, one of our objectives is to make each one of you a teacher at some point in the future. Now, the reason I say that, teaching makes you a more perfect teacher. I'm sure you would all agree with that. Teaching is, people think, it's a very sacred, profession. It takes a lot more, to be a teacher. Now, yes, that is all true. But having said that, by teaching others, by sharing the knowledge that you have, you also become more and more perfect in your understanding of the concepts and how you want the beginner to understand, go through the same journey with you. So that is what I would say, to give you the reassurance. I'm not saying that by the end of 4th quarter, you should become a teacher. Please join with that objective. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that could be one of your objectives. In fact, we encourage our students, a couple of other, our current teachers are students on other courses, but they're still teaching the basic stuff to people because that's the journey they've been through, and they find it very good from where they started. So they opted to offer some community service by way of teaching, joining us as a faculty member.
Great. We have a question from Manjushaji. Let me allow to talk. And we still have about 50 people on, but we're closing in on the last bit of questions. So Just giving you the heads
Yeah.
up.
Okay, what is
There
the
you go.
question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have been doing these courses by Sanskrit Bharati. So, Sambhashana Varga and Anuvartana Kaksha, Abhyasa Varga and Anuvartana Kaksha. So, just wanted to know if we are already in that level. So, which level of HUA, the Sanskrit classes would you be recommending for me to join?
Yeah, here is a question I have. Sanskrit Bharati has 4 graded examinations. They're called as Pravesha, Parichaya, Shiksha, and Kovida.
Yeah.
Okay, Kovida being the expert level.
Yeah.
Kovidaha in Sanskritam means expert. It doesn't
Yeah.
have anything to do with the COVID virus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, Pravesha level, if you have taken any of these exams, then we can fit you exactly into the course in HUA. But if you haven't taken any exam of these, these 4 graded exam, any of them you have not taken, then I would suggest your stream is SAN 1001.
Okay, so just in relation to that, like if we are planning to give the Pravesha exam, you would still recommend joining the SAN that 1001?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Depends on when you are going to take the exam. Suppose you are taking the exam this week and you're
Yeah.
joining HUA in October, then you could
And then,
you could consider joining 1003, for example.
yeah.
But
Okay.
if your exam is say June of next year, you would be much better off to join SAN 1001 now.
Okay.
This will,
Thank you.
whatever you are learning in SAN 1001 will augment whatever you're studying in Pravesha. In fact, it will help you to get a distinction score more than 90%.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. All right, Chandraji. Closing thoughts?
Well, at the end of the day, this is the key question that you all have to answer to yourself. Do I have 5 hours to commit to Sanskritam every week? Or is it more than that, about 10 hours per week? Depending on what is your answer, we are here to help you guide through the right course. Okay. There was a question here, are kids, age 4 and all, are they allowed? The minimum age requirement here is your, 9th grade. Okay, even at that level, we strongly advise at least one parent to be there with the kid. But if that is not possible, it's okay because they're already high schooler. We can still take them in, but nothing less than that. There are other organizations available, where they offer from age 4 onwards. If you need specific information, talk to Pragyaji. She will give it to you. Okay.
Okay.
Any other question from anyone?
Give people a chance. Going. Maybe a closing.
Okay, maybe I will conclude the session with a small prayer. This again is saying that you are the complete individual. You are a manifestation of what we call as complete, and that is God. And here we go. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha. Punarmilamaha.